There's only one ABBA, and after decades of going their own way, Benny Andersson has been a music legend for decades. As one of the mastermind behind ABBA, he gave the world songs that still make us sing and dance today. But behind the glitter and chart-topping hits, life wasn't always easy. ABBA's breakup hit hard, and Benny faced personal and family struggles that few fans knew about. He kept most of it private, choosing to let the music speak for him. But now, at 78, Benny has finally opened up about the truth, about her, about his past, and about what's really going on with ABBA today. Join us as we take a closer look at Benny's journey from the start and see what he has finally confessed. Early life and first steps in music. Benny Andersson was born on the 16th of December, 1946, in the Vasan district of Stockholm. His father, Gas Andersson, was a civil engineer, and his mother was Layla. He had a younger sister, Eva Lise, who was born in 1948. Music was in his blood from the start. Both his father and grandfather, Ephraim, played the accordion. When Benny was 6 years old, they bought him his own accordion and introduced him to Swedish folk music, traditional music, and a style called Schlager. He quickly developed a love for all kinds of music. The first records he owned were Dubis Music by Caterina Valente and Elvis Presley's Jailhouse Rock. He especially loved the song Treat Me Nice on the Flip Side because it had a piano. This mix of different music styles would influence him for the rest of his life. At the age of 10, Benny got his own piano and taught himself to play. He was inspired by musicians like Brian Jones. School didn't hold his interest for long, so he left at 15 and started performing at youth clubs. During this time, he met his first girlfriend, Christina Granville. They had 2 children together, Peter, born in 1963, and Helen, born in 1965. In early 1964, Benny and Christina joined a group called Elvert Spellman Slag, which means Electricity Board Folk Music Group. The name was a playful joke about their electric instruments. They played mostly instrumental songs like Baby Elephant Walk. And this was when Benny began writing his first songs, the Hep Stars and Rising Fame. In October 1964, Benny's career took a big step forward when he joined the pop band, the Hep Stars as their keyboardist. Just a few months later, in March 1965, the band had their breakthrough with the hit song Cadillac. The Hears quickly became one of the most famous Swedish pop bands of the 1960s. Benny became not just their keyboard player, but also the main musical force behind the group, as well as a teen idol. At first, the band played mostly cover versions of international hits, but Benny soon began writing songs for them. He gave the band several big hits, including No Response, Sunny Girl, Wedding, Consolation, It's Nice to Be Back, and She Will Love You. These songs helped shape their identity and proved Benny's talent for creating memorable music. Benny met Björn Ulvaeus in June 1966, and the two quickly began writing songs together. Their first song was Isn't It Easy to Say, which was later recorded by the Hep Stars. Benny also worked with Lasse Hogan, and together they wrote several songs. One of their entries, Hedge Clown, came second in the 1969 Melody Festival, Sweden's Eurovision Song Contest Finals. That same event changed Benny's life in another way. He met singer Annie Frid Lingad, and they soon became a couple. Round the same time, Bjorn met singer Agnetha Fältskog. These personal relationships naturally led to the close collaboration between the four of them in the years that followed. Benny and Bjorn scored their first songwriting hits in 1969 with Luva Sexetal for Britta Borg and Spellman for the Heap Stars. As the two couples began helping each other in recording sessions, the powerful blend of Agnia and Annie Fred's voices convinced Benny and Bjorn to model their group after successful mixed vocal acts of the time. Benny's connection with Annie Fred also grew through music. He produced her 1969 single Peter Pan, and later her debut album Frida in 1971. She kept busy with reviews and cabaret shows in Stockholm, while Agatha starred in the Swedish version of Jesus Christ Superstar in 1972. By the early 1970s, all four were supporting each other's music careers, laying the foundation for something bigger, the beginning of ABBA. The first time the four performed together was in April 1970 during a trip to Cyprus. They sang for fun on the beach, but it turned into an impromptu concert for United Nations soldiers stationed there. Around that time, Benny and Bjorn were recording their first joint album, Licka, with Agnetha and Annie Fred, providing backing vocals on several tracks. Later that year, they launched a stage act called Fest Focus, which means party people, but can also mean engaged couples. They debuted on the 1st of November, 1970 in Gothenburg. The show received mostly negative reviews except for their performance of Hedgeham Man, Hello Old Man, which became their first hit together. Credited to Bjorn and Benny. The song reached number 5 on the sales charts and stayed at number 1 on Svenskapen for 15 weeks. By 1971, the four were working together more often, adding vocals to each other's songs and touring. Benny and Bjorn released more singles like Date Con Engine, Dr. Helpen No Doctor, Can Help With That, and Tanko em Jorden Vorong. Imagine if Earth Was Young with Agnetha and Annie Frerik's voices playing a bigger role in the summer of 1971 Agnetha, and Bjorn, now married, began performing regularly with Benny at Swedish Folk Parks. Andersson, the head of Polar Music, believed strongly that Benny and Bjorn could achieve worldwide success. He encouraged them to keep writing, and after some near misses, they entered the 1972 Melody Festival with Sag Date Met, and sang Say It with a song which came third, and became a hit in Sweden. Then an unexpected success came from Japan, where their song, She's My Kind of Girl, made it into the top 10 in 1972. The real spark came in June 1972, when they released People Need Love with Agnetha, and Annie Frid featured more prominently. It was credited to Bjorn and Benny Agnetha and Anniford, and while it only reached number 17 in Sweden, it was enough to prove they had something special. It even charted in the United States, marking the first small step toward what would soon become ABBA's worldwide success. Ring Ring, and the birth of the name ABBA. In 1973, the group, still going by the long name Bjorn and Benny Agnetha, and Annie Frid entered Melodifestivalen again with their song Ring Ring. Producer Michael B. Trito gave the track a special wall of sound feel that would later become ABBA's signature. The song was also given English lyrics by Neil Sedaka and Phil Cody. Many thought it would win, but it only came third in the contest. Even though it didn't make it to Eurovision, the song and album Ring Ring became hits in several European countries and in South Africa. That same year, Agnetha had her daughter Linda and was briefly replaced by Inger Brunn for a trip to West Germany. Around this time, manager Stig Andersson decided the group needed a shorter name. He began calling them ABBA, a playful nod to a Swedish fish canning company of the same name. Permission was granted as long as the band didn't bring shame to the brand. ABBA was simply the first letters of each member's first name, and by late 1973, it appeared on studio paperwork. A few years later, their famous logo with the backwards B was created during a photo shoot when Benny accidentally held his letter the wrong way, inspiring the final design. By 1976, the mirror B became a permanent part of ABBA's image. Waterloo in the breakthrough years. In 1974, ABBA were invited to compete again in Melody Die Festival. They chose the upbeat Waterloo, influenced by the glam rock scene in the UK. This time, they were more experienced and better prepared. On the 9th of February, 1974, they won the Swedish election, and on the 6th of April, they took the Eurovision Song Contest crown performing in English. The win opened doors across Europe. Waterloo hit number 1 in 9 countries and broke into the U.S. top 10, reaching number 6. Their next single, Honey Honey, had moderate success, but in the UK, their label chose to re-release Ring Ring instead. Some began wondering if they were just a one-hit wonder. In late 1974, they toured parts of Europe, but not all shows sold out, forcing some cancellations. Things changed in early 1975 when they toured Scandinavia and played to packed venues. They continued releasing singles, including SOS and MMA Mia, which became massive hits in Europe and Australia. In Australia, their songs dominated the charts thanks to TV's Countdown. Mamma Mia stayed at number 1 for 10 weeks. By early 1976, ABBA had become a household name in many countries, although breaking into the U.S. album market was still difficult. In March 1976, ABBA released Greatest Hits, their first UK number 1 album, which included the new song Fernando. It became one of their biggest hits ever, topping charts in at least 13 countries and selling over 10 million copies worldwide. Later that year, they released Arrival, which took their success to a new level. The album included Money, 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 Knowing Me, Knowing You, and their most famous hit, Dancing Queen, which topped charts globally, including in the United States.